Imagine paying $700 for a Wi-Fi connected juicer, and then finding out you could just squeeze the juice bags with your hands and get the same result. That's the story of Juicero, a product so hyped, so over-engineered that it became a global punchline. It was a symptom of everything wrong with Silicon Valley hype culture. How did this ridiculous machine raise $120 million from top investors? Why did the smartest VCs in the world back it? And what does it teach us about innovation gone off the rails? Stick around, because the Juicero story is funnier, sadder, and more telling than you think. The birth of Juicero started with a simple vision: make fresh, healthy juice at home, with no mess. Founder Doug Evans was a hardcore juicing enthusiast. He wanted to reinvent home juicing. His pitch: a sleek, countertop machine that used pre-packed juice bags with raw, organic fruits and veggies. No prep required. You'd buy the machine, pop in a Juicero pack, and it would cold press fresh juice with tons of pressure, allegedly more than a car crusher. To investors, it sounded like a Nespresso for juice hardware plus subscription model big business. In theory, not a bad idea, but in practice, things were about to get very silly. The Silicon Valley hype machine Doug Evans was a master salesman. He framed Juicero as a health tech revolution. It wasn't just juice, it was a data-driven wellness platform. The machine would scan QR codes on each juice pack to verify freshness, track supply chain data, and connect to the cloud for updates. VCs ate it up. Google Ventures, Kleiner Perkins, even Campbell Soup invested. Juicero raised $120 million. At a time when many startups struggled to raise even $10 million. Press ran glowing stories about this Apple of juicers. Evans was positioned as the next Steve Jobs. But there was one problem: no one asked if the product actually needed to exist. The 700 juicer, when Juicero finally launched in 2016, the price shocked everyone. $699 for the machine and the juice packs, $5.8 per pack, for an 8-ounce serving. That's $700 up front, plus $50 every time you wanted a glass of juice. And remember, this wasn't fresh produce. The packs were pre-chopped and vacuum sealed. You were paying for juice in a bag, then using a 700 machine to squeeze it. Early adopters loved the design, but many complained about the cost. Reviews were lukewarm. Critics asked, why not just buy a normal juicer or cold, pressed juice from the store? The cracks were forming. But the real bombshell was still to come: the hand squeeze revelation. Then came the moment that killed Juicero. In 2017, Bloomberg reporters ran a simple test. They bought Juicero packs and squeezed them by hand. Guess what? The juice came out just fine. No 700 machine required. They filmed it. The video went viral. Suddenly, Juicero wasn't a cool gadget. It was a global joke. Memes exploded. Late-night hosts roasted it. Why buy an internet-connected machine when your own hands worked just as well, or faster? The story hit hard because it captured the worst of tech culture: over-engineering, pointless innovation, and products built for PR, not users. Juicero became the ultimate punchline. The fatal flaws in the business model: even before the hand squeeze video, Juicero had big problems. The machine was expensive to manufacture, filled with sensors, custom parts, even Wi-Fi components to check pack freshness. Meanwhile, the packs themselves weren't sold in stores. You had to order them directly from Juicero's website, with a subscription. That meant limited distribution, high churn, and massive customer acquisition costs. And remember, the packs had short shelf lives. Logistics were brutal. Even if the product had worked perfectly, the business model was shaky. When the viral backlash hit, those flaws became fatal. Juicero couldn't recover, because the economics were broken from day one. Investors left holding the bag. After the Bloomberg video, investors panicked. Kleiner Perkins, Google Ventures. They'd put millions into a product that was now a meme. Juicero slashed the machine price from $6.99 to $3.99. Too little, too late. Sales plummeted. Press coverage turned vicious. In September 2017, barely a year after launch, Juicero shut down. Over $120 million had been burned. And VCs were left wondering, how did we fall for this? The answer: because they wanted to believe. In Silicon Valley, a slick founder with the right buzzwords can still open wallets, even for a glorified juice squeezer. Why Juicero really failed? Juicero wasn't just a bad product. It was a failure of common sense. The core problem? It solved a non-existent problem. Juicing isn't that hard. Buying juice isn't that hard. And no one needed a 700 machine locked into a proprietary system. On top of that, Juicero ignored basic UX principles: too expensive, too restrictive, too fragile. The cloud connectivity, QR codes, and smart features were pure overkill, tech for tech's sake. And in a crowded wellness market, the value just wasn't there. At the end of the day, Juicero proved that no amount of hype can save a product that people simply don't need. The lessons Silicon Valley should learn. The Juicero saga offers some painful but valuable lessons. First, not every problem needs a tech solution. Second, VC hype doesn't guarantee success, even with A-list investors. Third, over-engineering can kill a product. Simplicity wins. Fourth, listen to users, not just your internal narrative. Juicero was obsessed with its own vision and ignored common sense. Finally, the media, investors, and founders all need to ask harder questions. If someone had simply squeezed a Juicero pack before launch, the entire fiasco might have been avoided. In a culture obsessed with disruption, the basics still matter. Juicero forgot that and paid the price. The culture of over-engineering. Juicero wasn't the only over-engineered product, but it became the most infamous. Why? Because it embodied a broader problem in Silicon Valley: building tech for its own sake, not for users. The Juicero machine was packed with custom gears, scanners, wireless components, firmware, and software updates to do something your hands could do in seconds. It was engineering theater, an illusion of innovation that didn't actually improve the user experience. In many ways, Juicero was the perfect meme for peak Silicon Valley excess. A time when investors were throwing billions at any product with an app and some IoT buzzwords. Juicero reminded everyone, just because something can be engineered doesn't mean it should be. The media's role: it wasn't just VCs who bought the hype. The media played a role too. Before the Bloomberg expose, Juicero was featured in glowing pieces from outlets like TechCrunch and Fast Company. The narrative was irresistible: a smart juicer, built by a passionate founder, backed by elite investors, reinventing how we drink juice. But too few journalists asked tough questions or tested the core product claims. The media often amplifies Silicon Valley hype before validating the reality. Juicero is a cautionary tale about why critical reporting matters, early and often. If the press had squeezed the bag before the launch hype cycle, the story might have played out very differently. The founder mindset: Doug Evans wasn't a scammer. He genuinely believed in Juicero. But that's part of what made it dangerous: founder delusion. Evans was so deep in the wellness juicing world, he lost sight of what normal customers actually wanted. He convinced himself that QR codes, cloud connectivity, and ultra-precise pressure mattered, when most users just wanted juice. This is a common founder trap: falling in love with the tech instead of the problem. Evans chased perfection instead of practicality, and surrounded himself with enablers who never questioned the vision. When reality hit, it was too late. Juicero became a 120 million case study in why product market fit matters more than founder passion. Juicero's place in tech history today. Juicero is tech industry shorthand for hype, over-engineering, and solving non-problems. It's referenced in VC boardrooms, in pitch meetings, even in Twitter debates. Don't build another Juicero. And while it's easy to laugh, the lessons still matter. The startup world is filled with smart people building cool things. But not every cool thing deserves to be a product. Juicero teaches us that user value, product simplicity, and basic common sense should always come first, no matter how big the buzz or the check. In a world chasing the next unicorn, sometimes the smartest thing is asking, does anyone actually need this? Juicero didn't. And now it's a cautionary tale for the ages. And that's the truth about Juicero, Silicon Valley's dumbest product. You tell me. It had everything: a slick founder, big-name investors, media hype, and a fatal lack of reality. In the end, 120 million disappeared, and the internet got one of the funniest tech stories of the decade. What do you think was Juicero's biggest mistake? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, give it a like, share it around, and hit subscribe. More wild stories from the world of tech are coming your way. Thanks for watching, and stay skeptical out there.